Hello YouTubers and welcome back to a video, and today is completely different. I'm being joined by somebody, so this is Ian. You're not even on camera yet.
I'm on camera now though.
So this is Ian, good friend Ian. Today we are going to do a review of Thunderbirds Are GO, and the original Thunderbirds, which we fell in love with as children. So,
not just as children.
Well, still in love with it. Okay, so a little bit of background to it. Thunderbirds was made in the 1960s originally by the...
Jerry and Sylvia Anderson.
Thank you.
1968, I believe.
No, 1962 to 1964.
So it was. It's Captain Scarlet and Joe Knightley that were later.
There we go. And basically it's set in the future around 2056 is the starting point, and so it kind of carries on into 2060. And everything seems to be nuclear powered, basically, is the future.
Yeah. No idea why.
The original show used working puppets and models and used real explosives, which was fun.
Lots of pyrotechnics and a form of gravel called, I can't remember the name of the gravel, but it's
very... modelling gravel, yeah.
Yeah, it produced a really effective dust effect.
And recently we've discovered it's been remade as a CGI version called Thunderbirds Are GO. First series is all available online and illegally downloaded.
I want to point out it is we're about to rip into this show. I will point out it is better than the live action film they produced in 2004. It's better.
Mixed opinions.
I mean, Alan's still a whingy brat, but he's less of a whingy brat.
The two episodes we're comparing are the only ones that are the same or similar in concept.
Similar.
Yes, similar.
Spoilers.
Yes.
They're not.
Basically, we're the first ever episode of the original series called Trapped in the Sky.
You don't mind if I make a point in here, do you?
Sure, go on.
Trapped in the Sky is the reason Thunderbirds, the original series, was extended to an hour-long format.
Ah.
Because the editor of the BBC or the network that was running it at the time, might have been BBC, might have been ITV, saw the test footage, which was condensed to 25 minutes, 30 minutes, was like, this is awesome, make it an hour. So you can actually see in Trapped in the Sky where they've put things in, but it just adds to the story and it makes it really what it is. There we go.
And we've now just finished watching the CGI version of what is episode 5, called Fire Flash, which doesn't seem to correlate at all because they've changed the plot and it's not their first mission anymore.
You're going to put a picture of Fire Flash into this video?
Yeah, there'll be pictures and video clips
the original Fire Flash.
To help explain what on earth has been happening.
Indeed.
Okay, so start off in London, and brand new, spanking new jet called Fire Flash has been developed by Brains, who's the kind of technical person behind Thunderbirds, with new engines. And basically that's going on its maiden flight, and yeah, stuff happens.
Which one are we talking about at this point?
Well,
both. This is kind of both of them at this point.
Both. That's what both have in common.
They're both hypersonic jet airliners. That's the only similarity they have.
Yes. In the original series, the Hood, who's the kind of main villain in the whole thing, has planted a bomb in the landing gear of Fire Flash.
Aptly described, auto bomb unit.
Yes, it's got a label on it saying bomb, and no one notices at all. So basically he's planted a bomb in the plane so it can't land again. It's
an incredibly pre-9/11 show.
Yes.
Just air travel is just great. Like, ding! You may now remove your safety belt and smoke if you wish.
Yeah. But then compared to the new version, is basically just the Hood taking the plane for himself. And
with poison gas.
Yeah, putting everyone to sleep with a poison gas, and I don't even know what on earth he's doing half the time.
I don't know.
But before we even got into the plot, there's a picture inside Fire Flash in the CGI version showing the windows. And the windows are kind of a jagged shape. And if anyone knows anything about flying planes or plane designs...
If anyone watching this has done first year mechanics,
yes.
Jim Boyle has already told you why this is a bad plan.
Basically, if planes don't have round windows, it's going to create a fault line in the hull of the plane.
Stress point.
and so that's just going to rip open as soon as it takes off and gets to any kind of pressure.
Not even that, it's fatigue.
Well,
metal fatigue.
yeah.
Your crack's going to expand, it's going to go right around the plane, break apart in mid-air.
A few questions for you, Ian.
Oh, brilliant.
What did you think of the look of the new craft compared to the old ones?
Thunderbird 1, Thunderbird 4, and in theory the look of Thunderbird 3 look alright. A bit blocky because CGI and it looks to be quite low budget, but the looks are alright. I don't have an issue with the looks. The designs are fundamentally realistic. Thunderbird 3 is running linear aerospike rocket engines, which are a good idea.
You've kind of skipped over Thunderbird 2, which is your favourite.
It is my favourite. Thunderbird 2 will not be beaten in terms of looks.
Basically, the original Thunderbird 2 is a nice kind of domed shape on the top.
I have a picture of Thunderbird 2 in my bedroom.
Yeah. It's now basically a block.
It's now a box.
Flies. It's a box that flies.
That flies apparently at Mach 5.
What did you think of the new uniforms they've designed?
Not bad. I like that they look functional and actually reasonable for pilots to wear. Although I'm quite partial to RAF flight suits which have G trousers which force blood to the brain when you're pulling high G maneuvers, which we'll cover later, I think.
Yes. Basically, I have a list here of stuff that was bad and a list of, I think it's 7 things that were good, and
it takes up that much space on the page.
This sheet of paper here, this paragraph and these little bits here are all bad things. This little section in the middle, which I started in the wrong place, was the good stuff.
Yeah, you should have started at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, I should have just taken a new page completely. So, the good things. Things that we liked out of the whole episode was the concept of having an eye projector.
It's a hologram.
It's a kind of hologram for when Thunderbird 5 or anyone calls into International Rescue's base. The original had pictures on the wall, which then turned into like a screen, which then showed people talking.
Which made sense at the time.
Which made sense.
Also, Thomas Brodie Sangster's playing John Tracy, and I have no issue with Thomas Brodie Sangster.
Jeff Tracy didn't even appear in this episode.
I have issue with him. I have issue with that. His voice did, and it's the original voice, so we can have that as a good point.
You like the camera for Thunderbird 1's launch?
Yep. This is just a bit of a personal note. Quite a lot of the cameras they're using are very much based on the style of Battlestar Galactica, which was then copied in Stargate, where they sort of zoom in, zoom out, pan about a little bit, sort of the camera's shifting all over the place.
And a nice bit of camera shake. There we go.
Mm.
And we also approved the new design of Thunderbird 5. It looks very nice.
It's very realistic.
We like the idea of Thunderbird 2's pod design, of basically everything's modular and made up for the mission on the mission, instead of just them assuming, yes, we need pod 5. Oh wait.
Wait, we don't need them all, but we actually need the grappling cars.
Yes. Or, oh no, we need fire equipment, but then something else happens. We need something else. Oh wait, we didn't bring that pod. Yes. That was the only problem we had with the original series.
Well, we had other issues, but
there's small things, but nothing as bad as CGI, which doesn't have an excuse.
There's the Harrier jets.
Harrier jets on
Thunderbird 2 has quite nice Harrier jets.
So you noticed what kind of jets Fireflash had?
Fireflash had. It had 4 reasonable sort of standard jets at the top. Issues with that for
balance reasons.
Yeah, it's correctable with correct use of trim, but not too much of an issue. What I had more issue with is that, oh, we're going to go supersonic. You are over land. You are not allowed to go supersonic over land. Get that into your minds. Oh, and then they said, we're engaging the ramjet. Makes sense if you want to go supersonic. It's actually a reasonable engine to use. The engine underneath is a scramjet, a supersonic combustion ramjet. You need to be at supersonic speeds to use a scramjet.
Moving away from technical stuff, we get onto the character KO, or Kato, or whatever. KO knockout! I don't know.
Finish him!
Something like that. Which has replaced the character Tintin. It's basically the same character, they just renamed her.
Boo, we like Tintin.
Tintin was better.
Tintin was better.
They've also got rid of Jeff Tracy just seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. Don't know
Also
where he is.
boo.
And Kirano, the kind of help around the house, the cook.
What? They got rid of Kirano.
Doesn't appear in the new series.
Was this your surprise?
No, that wasn't the surprise. The surprise was that she was the Hood's niece.
Oh, I knew they were related. This
Yeah.
isn't new.
Not new at all. But yeah, any mind trickery with the Hood is kind of disappeared as well.
Boo! He was a psychic before and it was quite cool.
He was a cool guy. Evil, but
He also
cool.
wanted to blow things into a million pieces.
Yes, next problem we had was KO just walked into Fireflash's cockpit without any kind of problem, just kind of opened the door.
We mentioned pre-9/11 earlier.
However, this
appears
is
to be
this is the remade version though.
This appears to be pre-9/11 again, where you can just walk into the flight bit where, oh, hey, what's up? Oh.
And KO also has superhuman strength, as she's able to rip a piece of machinery off of a wall
With at least 6 cables coming out
with
of
about
it.
6-7 reasonably chunky cables coming out of it. And then later on she's then lifting up these kind of big canisters about this size that are about
probably
circumference of about that.
Probably solid steel canisters.
Solid steel.
Full of gas, which
Yes.
when you compress gas becomes quite heavy.
And if you think about just lifting like a fire extinguisher, that's pretty heavy. And this thing was
She's lifting a big fire extinguisher.
big fire extinguisher. So yes, KO is superhuman
And
strength.
throwing it.
Then there was a small scene, which I'm going to just put a clip in, with the worst sentence in the universe said by the Hood about sabotaging his sabotage of saboteur, what?
Something like that.
Where is the saboteur trying to sabotage my sabotage?
And then he says, come out wherever you are.
Then later on, Hood decides that he's going to eject from the plane in an escape pod.
Science mode. I'm needing the science mode.
Oh no.
Do that and put in some dramatic music. Dun 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 dun.
Science with Ian.
Here we go. Science.
Okay.
Just set the scene.
So, an escape pod has basically been launched from a plane doing
Mach 5.
Mach 5, we believe.
It said Mach 5, literally 30 seconds later.
Yes, and so this ends up leaving a big hole.
A gaping hole from which
plane.
KO is looking out of.
KO then walks up to the edge of said hole and peers out.
Fireflash is high altitude, so low pressure, also Mach 5 high speed. Turbulence would rip the plane apart, low pressure would vaporize KO and boil her blood, and then rip her to shreds.
And basically that plane is no more.
Basically the episode is over at this point.
Yes. Okay, leave science mode, shoo.
I'm back.
And back to normal. We then got on to Thunderbird 1, bit of dramatic scene of Thunderbird 1 then gets told where Fireflash is to be able to... Thunderbird 1's travelling at Mach 10 in a straight line at this point.
And then does a 90 degree turning point in about half a second.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to your neck, back, arms, legs, just your bones are broken, Scott. I'm not you, Scott.
Not me, Scott
Tracy.
character. We then got to the problem of, in this version, Fireflash just seems to have fuel in the belly of the plane because a fuel line broke, so the plane's full of fuel basically.
Or not full of fuel, because KO keeps saying, oh, we're about to run out of fuel.
No, it's full of fuel but not in the fuel tank.
Ah.
It's in the bottom of the plane, just sloshing around.
Oh, that makes no sense.
No. And so basically, coming into land, tries to open the landing gear, one wheel comes down and the other two get stuck. And then
And KO has no idea until someone tells her.
KO only knows this happens because Scott, flying in Thunderbird 1 alongside,
Not
tells
the
her...
Scott.
No, other Scott, not me. It's really confusing. Tells them that, basically, your landing gear's not down, don't try and land. However,
I play flight sims. From World War II aircraft onwards that started having retractable undercarriage, there is a cockpit light with 2 red lights when they're up and 2 green lights when they're down.
So basically, Fireflash has the worst cockpit design in the world. We have Thunderbird 2 just decides that, yeah, we're going to follow Thunderbird 1 on this mission because apparently we may be needed. In the original series, Thunderbird 2 was dispatched by Jeff Tracy under his orders because he kind of runs the thing. In this series...
Jeff Tracy does not exist, apparently.
Doesn't exist, and so they just kind of go, yeah, I want to go out in Thunderbird 2 today, and just fly off, because they just assumed Scott would need help. So, They fly along,
I mean, sure, it makes sense, but...
They apparently bring the correct equipment as well.
Well, they brought the sort of general pod. We discussed this earlier.
Yeah, Thunderbird 2 left without authorization and turns up at the exact moment it's needed. Thunderbird 2 then lands as well and has the fastest hydraulics we've ever seen in the world. It basically goes from flat ground up at that speed. I'm not even kidding.
Pretty much. And then the door just goes...
Yeah. Just instant hydraulics, perfect. Compared to the original series where it took maybe 10 seconds.
And then the door...
Yeah.
Clink.
About 5 to 10 seconds for a pod to basically be opened. Which is realistic compared to CGI.
Probably even a little bit fast, actually. Still.
True. But then it's futuristic technology. We then have when Alan and Gordon are driving two of the elevator cars underneath Fireflash to help it with landing gear. They basically become the landing gear, having a small thing on wheels with a table on the top of it, basically. They then end up having to accelerate Fireflash to take off again because the pods are being... the elevator cars are being crushed and basically they're going to die. So KO accelerates and takes off again and making them tumble along the ground,
roll in
crash
pretty much all three axes, and then crash into some pretty solid sand, which looks terrible. The effects are, I'm pretty sure they just use real sand and CGI'd over the top.
And instantly, both of them jump out and say, "We're fine!"
Except for the fact their legs, backs, necks, arms, and legs are broken.
Yes, and they've not even got a cut or a scratch, or even a bit sore from being tossed around at a good 100 miles an hour, I would say.
And then coming to a rest in about 3 seconds.
Yes. Last point is we have Thunderbird 2. In the end, catches Fireflash mid-air and slows it down using two, like, kind of hooks.
Just keep talking, I have no words. I have no words.
Thunderbird 2 is flying along, Fireflash is there, catches up. It then has two, like, suction cups that kind of come down either side on a bit of rope and attached to each other. I think they might be electromagnetic or
probably
something.
Probably EM electromagnets.
Yeah. And so these two things are able to hold the weight of Fireflash plus the force of Thunderbird 2 twisting and accelerating backwards to slow down Fireflash to rest it on the floor.
Which is a good use of its Harrier jump jet engines.
It's a good use of the engines, but I don't think the thin cables and the suction...
Also, narrow cables would probably shear through the wing at the speeds they're going at, the rate that Thunderbird 2 is trying to decelerate. I don't think we mentioned that when we were doing the notes, but it would shear the wings.
Basically, Thunderbird 2, you can't catch Fireflash. So basically, in summary of all of this, is the plot is just gone.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch the new series called Thunderbirds Are GO. Watch the original puppet series made in the 60s. They've also got rid of the love interests, I think.
Have they?
I think, yeah, because Tintin...
I have no issue with this. I had an issue with Tintin being the love interest.
Tintin was the love interest of both Virgil and Alan.
At different
times, depending
in the same episode.
Depending on how Tintin was feeling, Tintin would either go for Virgil or Alan.
As I keep saying, Virgil is the better choice.
Virgil's his favourite character.
Yeah.
Big thank you to Ian for coming along today and give me a hand with this bit. First visitor on the show.
Hello.
So, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it a lot, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please leave comments if you've got questions and I'll try and answer them for you. Thank you very much.
If you have any more terrible stuff you want us to review together,
we will do that for you. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.